I just wanted to talk about like your growth through the coaching trick chain, so to speak. And you started off, at your alma mater, and then Richmond, and then you just took off like a rocket, and a lot because of your hard work. But you know, basically, why don't you walk me through the steps of where you were, and then we'll get into some of the questions about the D line, the system, and then how you kind of implement your coaching style.
Well, I think, Mark, first of all, I really appreciate the kind words and having me on. But you were one of the most, probably the most dedicated players I ever had in coaching, hardest working, and obviously your play reflected. But let me take you back to Coach Reed, my college coach that you played for and Randy played for. Uh, I get into coaching because of the impact coaches had on my life. Obviously, God rest my dad's soul, great leader of our home uh, and mentor. But Coach Reed was a special guy, and I thought he really cared about his players as well as making you the best that you could be on and off the field. So I got into coaching because I thought maybe I could have an impact, and I loved the challenges that coaching brought out in me as a person, but also the things that I could give back to some players. Now, the hard work, I mean, that's the only way I made it as a player. I was not the greatest player, but I stumbled into playing, starting every game of my career. But I think it was mainly because of the work ethic and the drive that I had to want to be the best. And I thought that that was ingredients to being successful on the field and off the field. So I tried to instill that in my players at every level. You knew firsthand what that was like. Um, but I think you can do it at the same level where I am now, coaching a future Hall of Famer in Chris Jones, or a great player in George Kalafdis or Mike Dana, guys like that. I do think you can still develop the man and then push the player. So I think part of my first reasons why I get into coaching, I still have today. I mean, I think if you don't let the player know you care, I don't think they're going to run through a brick wall for you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I do have this, Mark. I mean, you should know this, that in between the white lines, if you bust your ass and you give 100% effort in everything that you do, I'll run through a brick wall for you. And I know there might be some missteps along the way. You might veer off the track. But as long as you love football and love the relentless effort that you have to put forth, I'd do anything for any of my players. If that makes sense. If you're lazy, and don't love the grind, I don't have much
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. I can imagine that'd be super hard for you. And as I know your story well in how you coached me, which was very hard, but very caring and very appropriate, and it was a blessing to say the least. But you've learned so many things over the years, like through all the different coaches that influenced you at every different team at every different level. Did you Was there a moment where you said, I absolutely want to coach in the NFL? Like, I have to be in the NFL because you were at some amazing schools. I know we had something special at the University of Richmond, but coached at a lot of major schools. So, at what point did
Well,
you say, I do want to move to the NFL?
well, I think, Mark, like when you look back, okay, we had a great run at Richmond, and then out of the blue, I got a phone call from Jerry Donato to go to LSU. I was 31 years old. Great opportunity, one of the most storied traditional football places in all of college football. I had an opportunity to go to Indiana, help turn around a program, Illinois, where the great Dick Butkus played, Simeon Rice, guys like that, Kevin Hardy. Opportunity to be at Ole Miss. So there was some stops, Memphis along the way. There was some stops, but then when I met Rod Marinelli, John Terley, those were my mentors in terms of my professional growth. I wanted to coach at the highest level, and I wanted to be able to win a Super Bowl at the highest level, have an opportunity to coach the best of the best. Not that coaching at UMass versus coaching at Kansas City was any different, but that was my goal. And I had an opportunity to get that goal at 36, and I had some hiccups and almost threw that out the window. So there's been some ups and downs, but that was my goal from an earlier coaching stage in my life, and very grateful to have the opportunity because a lot of people helped me, a lot of players helped me get to that level.